Hello, hello, hello. What's going on? Guys, I'm pumped. I'm amped. Excited to do this is actually our first Facebook Live, first YouTube live, and we're just rocking out, hanging out here. Today we're gonna talk about credit cards, travel credit cards, and setting up a new one. Some mistakes that we get when we're doing it. I've been practicing and using financial credit cards and things like that for the last 5 or so, 6 years actually. And it's gotten me from coast to coast and to 17 different countries. So we're just going to talk about that and some of this initial strategies when starting off, but like really, really from the beginning, from the 101. We got a great guest today, one of my closest brothers from back home in Connecticut, on the East Coast. And this is someone who's been close to me forever. And really, we're going to spend some time talking about a little bit about his journey. Him and I have been kind of going back and forth about how to get the best out of these financial credit cards and tips and things like that. So we'll just go over kind of wrap on that. And we wanted to make it interactive, so we decided to do it live. So if we get questions and things like that, we'll take them. And then I'm going to share some of my top tips for setting up your new travel credit cards. And if there's questions about things to do, we'll do that too. Really, I get super passionate and excited about just sharing all this knowledge, and it's been a journey for me. Did not think we'd be able to do, or I'd be able to go as far as I've been able to, and really want to give that knowledge back. A lot of the stuff we'll talk about, I didn't even know existed, so I'm excited to share it. I want to introduce the coach himself, Pernell Bobby. Pernell, why don't you, let me see if I can get you. Hey, Pernell. What's up, man?
How you doing, dude?
Dude, I'm doing good. It's still, I know it's late for some of these East Coasters, 9 o'clock, but the sun is still shining in California.
I see that. I see that. Literally.
Where are you calling it? Where are you right now?
Playa del Carmen, Mexico. I just left the East Coast maybe a month ago, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but you weren't on the East Coast for long.
No, just a month. Like my sister had a baby. That's it. I'm in and I'm out, man. I ain't got too much.
It's I practice Buddhism, and we call it myoho, where you get that moment where schedules link, right? And I had to go home for a little bit. You had to go home for a little bit, and we just met in the middle.
I mean, the likelihood of me being able to see you back home out of all the places is ridiculous. I mean, at the same time, and one day, I caught you one day before you left.
That's right. I was on a flight. I mean, I should be mad at you. I had a 6 a.m. flight the next day, which is like basically me, and I'm up at 4, which is 1 o'clock my time. Went to work the next day, so
you should be mad at me. Mad at me.
Oh man! All right. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about credit scores, credit cards, setting up kind of from the intro to seeing how far we can push it, right?
Show me the money.
So I will say that none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I've just gone on a journey. We come from humble beginnings where we didn't think a lot of the things that we're able to do were even possible, even existed. And here we are. So I wanted to kind of just share that story. It's funny. I was prepping for this a little bit, and Pernell and I, we went to school together, roommates, and Pernell's old roommate is actually one of the people who actually got me started on all this. And I forgot about this story for so long, but your old roommate, Jasmine Johnson, shout out ATL.
Yo, I just saw her face on Facebook.
Well, and this is like, this is my senior year on the way out. And one of the last times, I feel like this has got to be one of the last times to talk to her. We're just talking about, I don't know, credit scores or something. And one day she literally just grabs my phone, goes to CapitalOne.com, signs me up for this student credit card. And that was it. She's like, here you go. 2 minutes later, I had $300 in credit. Like super small. I started out with, I got hacked. I got hacked like at a very young age, like identity theft. So my credit was just bad from the beginning. And in a couple of minutes, she just literally took my phone and said, here you go, here's a credit card. And I didn't even realize like how much of an impact that had to where we are now.
I had no clue that happened.
And it's funny because like there's all these referrals and all the things you can get. She didn't want any of that. She was just like, this is knowledge we should all have. And I was like, wow, okay, thanks. And it's funny because, you know, we set up, you and I talked not too long after that. Like after I had saw what it did to my credit, I was like, oh, I got to share this with everyone. And I shared it with you and I'm like, dude, sign up for this card now because this is going to help you in the long run. Right. And well, I mean, has it worked?
It absolutely worked, and I'm very thankful that my limit wasn't $300 when I started.
Dude, it's so funny too because we talk about some of these rules and things you have to do, and it's like your knowledge isn't really flexible. You had to get creative, and you know, I kind of learned from that, and so it's funny because I use those same rules with you. Use the same rules with my sister, whose name is also Jasmine, which is funny how it all circulates. You know, you're building credit, right? There's so many cards that are awesome, but when you're building credit, you kind of got to start somewhere. You can't do those top tiers from the beginning, and so you know, there's some of the rules we'll talk about that I've used for the past, you know, years and improved my credit over 300 points, almost 300 points. So, you ready? Should we hit it?
I'm ready. Let's show me the magic.
All right. So, you know, it's funny. I also put together just like a checklist. We'll go through some of these. So people are watching, taking notes, things like that. Like I have us all in a document. You can download it. It's free. Don't worry about that. But so let's go through it. And these are like a lot of questions that I get texts from you and other people all the time. Like, what do I do here? And it's like, can you remind me? And I was like, I got to put this together and just put it in one document. But the first one is just set up autopay. You know, never miss a payment. And when you're talking about travel credit cards and things like that, like this one should be a no-brainer. Like as soon as you get that new credit card, just set this up, right? I would forget to pay all the time if I didn't do this. Kind of the first thing I do. And now you just got a new credit card, right? You just got a Freedom?
Chase Freedom Unlimited, whatever that means.
Chase Freedom Unlimited. So did you set up the autopay yet?
No, I'm actually like, maybe I still should, but I'm like, I never miss something like that. Like these aren't things that I miss. I mean, my brain doesn't, it just operates differently, I guess. I don't know. But I'm also not spending money that I don't have either, right? So it's like, I was really late when it comes to the credit card game, to be honest. You're the one that got me on it. And I just don't really spend money I don't have. What Jay-Z said, something like, you can't buy it 3 times, you can't afford it.
Right.
And that's helped me out.
No, that's right. I mean, they're basically saying you're kind of treating your credit card like a debit card, just if it was in the bank already.
I basically use it like a debit card. It was in the bank already, and it's like, you're not going to catch me slipping.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, when I started, I didn't use autopay and think of it. I mean, a lot of it like wasn't really as easy as it was now with apps and things like that.
Right. Right.
But I was paying off my balance so frequently, I never had an opportunity to miss a payment. Like I would pay 2 or 3 or 4 times a month.
Wow.
So I never, it wasn't even like fathomable to miss a payment. Right.
Right.
But it's funny because you've already kind of jumped into, we'll cover the other one as a tip in a minute. But so one of the things is like, just never carry a balance, pay in full each month. So a lot of these cards have amazing perks, and you know, some of these bonuses you can get for travel, you can get for cash back. I mean, it's incredible, and it's enticing. You're like, yeah, I need to get this. And then where you forget is the way they make their money is when you carry that debt. So basically, as soon as you carry a debt at any given point, like you're losing. You're not getting the benefits. You're not getting the arbitrage of using all these points and credit cards. And there's like, it's fun. There's myths out there that's like, you need to carry a balance in order to improve your credit score. Couldn't be further from the truth. Couldn't be. I mean, your credit score is based on how much of a balance you're carrying, how often you're paying that on time, right? All you gotta do is pay it off in time, in full, every month. That if you're paying that minimum, sometimes you'll see payments like, yeah, you owe $4,000 and the minimum payment's $25 and you pay $25. and you carry that balance, and that interest is worse than any like investment or anything you can do. It's just directly against you.
Mm.
So you're paying yourself off in full each month, right?
Absolutely. I like seeing zero.
I like zero too.
I don't want to owe anybody anything.
Same. It's always better. I always feel it's funny because like if I go on group trips and stuff, I always feel like I'd rather pay and if people pay me back than like the phobia of like, oh, yeah, to Venmo you. But I'm like, but sending my money is hard.
You said it though. That the app do make it easier. I'll be honest.
Yeah. You know, and I would say that's a change for me because recently I'm busy and I do a lot of stuff. And so like I can forget my credit balances and things like that have gone up. So like I'm not paying multiple times a month anymore, paying once a month. And that's just on autopilot. And I just let it go. Just set it and forget it after like building up the strategy. But you know, when I was starting off, it's like exactly as you said. I treat your credit card like a debit card. If
Nice.
you
if you don't have it,
huh?
I said nice. I figured something out by accident.
Yeah, I mean, Mama didn't raise no fool here. But I think, I mean, we were doing this back in the day, 76 in the apartment, right? Like we were buying groceries for the month, right? And
Sure.
buying those giant things of chicken thighs because they're like $1 a pound. But it's like you're just using the money that you have. You know, we didn't have credit cards back then. We were just like, this is what we have. This is kind of what we're used to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the other thing too, rule number 4, and this is one you text me about like all the time. I feel like
I have actually multiple times. I'm like, yo, what am I supposed to? Is it 1/3? Is it 33%? Is it of the limit? Is it of the? I think I've asked that a lot actually.
Right. Let's look. What does it mean? So let's break it down. Right. So the tip here I'll give is never exceed 1/3 of your available credit balance at any given time. And in theory, if you wanted to push it, which I don't, it's like don't push it. Like you could think about if you had multiple cards. Say you had a card that had $1,000 balance, another card that had $2,000 balance, and you could look at it. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna look at an aggregate and say, okay, I can put $1,000 on one card, and then that's still only 1/3 of my total because you have 3,000 total. But I don't even play it that way. I'm just like, don't put over 1/3 on any given card at any given time.
So that goes for all your cards in combination.
I'm saying in theory it does, but I don't recommend it, and here's why.
Okay.
Not every card reports to every credit bureau. So there's multiple credit bureaus. So when you're thinking about how your score is aggregated, it's looking at like payments and things you've done. It's looking at your available credit holistically. So it's looking at like car loans and homes and things like that. But for me, like I graduated, went to New York. I have not had a car payment. I have not had a house or an apartment, anything like that. Like all of my credit's been built through credit cards. Like it's literally the only thing that I have for payments. And so for me, so you think about someone in that situation where if in theory I have $3,000 in credit available, let's say that's the thing, but one of the cards isn't showing up, then all of a sudden it looks like all of your credit has been maxed out. And the reason that matters is like, if you're maxing out your card, you probably don't have a lot. And the banks are like, oh, that's not a good indicator. So they lower your score. So my recommendation is like per card, don't go over 1/3. But here's the real thing. This is do not exceed. You really should just be down to 10%. Like don't go over 10% if you can avoid it.
I think that's a very big like misconception, right? I feel like a lot of people may have heard the 1/3, myself included, but when I asked you again recently, you were saying 10%. I was like, oh crap. Like, because I remember one of these times I was under 1/3 and I see my score fluctuate and I was like, yo, what's that about? And I think it was because I was touching more than that 1/3 of a percent. Yeah. So that's really good because I don't think that 10% is common knowledge.
No. When I was starting out. So I told you that first credit card I had, $300. $300 was my limit.
Yeah.
So that's $100 max. Right. And this is a point where I had this Wall Street job. So I was earning enough. But like there's a lag on this. Like some of these things take time. And So I was like, I'd put like $50 on it, and then I would pay it off. Wait a couple days, put more money on it, pay it off. Like I kept transactions on it because I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just figuring it out. But I always kept it under a third. Like I wouldn't put more than like 100 on it whenever I could. I mean, there was times where stuff was hard. Like I had to max that thing out. But I tried to keep it, under 100. But really, the 10% is the mark, or just go for zero. Like
so in that situation, $30.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's why it's like, huh?
Better go to McDonald's.
No, man, you can afford McDonald's in $30. That Big Mac's like $12, man.
And by the time you pay the gas to get there,
you pay the Uber to get there. You pay the delivery fee. It's another. Nah, man, you can't get McDonald's for that.
Car's maxed out.
No way. And it's funny. So like when you're building your credit score and you're building things up and you're getting up to tiers, it's like you gotta be kind of structured here. You don't have a lot of wiggle room. You only have a third, and it's so important. And that's why Rule 5 I recommend. It's like when possible, you just pay for balance right away. People think you gotta wait. You gotta wait to the 15th. You gotta wait to the 16th, whatever that day is. Nah, man, pay that. You got money.
I really can't find I couldn't find my phone before this live, and I'm like, you're making me want to check my credit cards and be like, I think only each of them have maybe $100, and another one has $300. And I'm like, I just want to pay now. I'm looking for my phone and can't find anything. I want to pay right now.
Dude, no doubt. When I was on the come up for this, I was literally, I'd get bored. If I got bored, I'd pay my credit card off. I'm like, it's time. I was 3-4 times a month, dude.
That's a good boredom tactic.
Yeah, and so people shop on Amazon. I was weird, and I was like, I'm gonna pay off my credit card instead. I don't know why.
Huh.
All right, we're halfway through the rules. So what's 6? The other one, don't apply for too many cards at once. This one's a little aggressive. This is more advanced. So if you only have a card or two, and you're starting off, you probably aren't thinking about getting multiple cards. But when you start thinking about the benefits and the points and things like that, people get a lot of cards at once. And there's rules, right? It's like anything else. So when you think about personal credit and things like that, when you apply for a card, it goes against your score. There's a little bit of a slight decrease because if you're looking for more credit, the banks are like, why are you looking for credit? Don't you have enough money? So that's the same thing with an auto loan or home loan. So side tip. If you're looking to apply for a mortgage soon, don't apply for credit card first in that area, right? Because when you apply for a credit card, your credit card score goes down just a little bit, 3 to 5 points, nothing too crazy. And it'll come right back. But those 3 to 5 points are really valuable when you're talking about a mortgage. We're talking about a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $100,000 investment. You want every point you can get. So this is a small tip. It'll go down for a little bit. And when you apply for a lot at a time, it'll hit even more. It's the same thing we're applying for. If you're getting shopping loans for a car, you can get a couple in a row and they'll batch it together. But you don't want to do it all at the same time. And it's just you got to think about the incentives for the bank. Okay, if this person's applying for a lot of things, they probably need money. And if they need money, that's bad. So you just don't want to trigger those flags. You know what I mean?
Okay, I understand. That makes a lot of sense. So when you were telling me before, we were trying to apply for 2 cards at a time, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So under the 3, there would have not been a bad pull at all.
No.
I see Rakim was on the call, and he had commented a little bit earlier. I don't know. He had said something to me once. I know he's kind of in the financial space. He said something to me once before. Oh, okay, hey, look at my man. And he said, oh man, I wish I could remember. I don't remember, but he was speaking about how he said he apply every 6 months or so to ask for a raise in your credit. Is there anything that you can say about that?
Yeah, I mean, there's full like scripts and things you can do to apply for raises and credit, and especially on the come up, being strategic. So we talk about that example of, hey, $300, right? That does allow me to put a lot of things on the credit card. And if I want to take advantage of points and dining and things like that, like you have to put money on the card. You gotta pay to play a bit. So part of it, there's a couple of ways to improve your credit score. One is improve the score with each of your cards, each of your relationships that you have is one, and your other lever is to get more cards, right? Or loan sources in general, right? Again, I'm speaking from, I went to school, went straight to New York, didn't have a car, didn't have an apartment, or didn't have a house, right? So like my entire credit history is in the form of credit card. So that's where I'll speak from.
Sure.
Yeah, you can absolutely call them, ask for an increase, right? When you're showing, but there's a couple things, right? Show that, like pay off your balance or keep it below that 10%, right? All the triggers and things we talked about, make sure those are all lined up. So you haven't missed a payment. You're not exceeding that third, or you're really not exceeding that 10%. And those are all good indicators. Like, yeah, okay. And even when you don't, so when I was building up, I would ask a bit more frequently. Probably about 6 months is probably fair. But if you stay with any company long enough, they'll just auto increase it too, for the most part, which was nice. So I think I got that $300 card. I think they actually auto increased it to, wait for it, 500. I know. Huge. And then I think I asked for the next one, got to 1,000, I opened the second card, and then all of a sudden I had like 15 in credit. So it's like I had more room to play. I was able to put $500 on at a time, right? And I was definitely doing the 30% rule, a 33% rule. I didn't really understand the 10% rule at that point. So I probably could have even gone faster. But yeah, does that make sense?
No, it really does. I was actually just typing in the chat. I was like, definitely want to get another upgrade. I want to get another upgrade. Now I'm getting excited. I'm like, show me the money.
So it's a ladder, right? Like, so some of the top cards cost more. There's an annual fee on a lot of these cards, and a lot of the top tier cards and things like that have more perks and benefits and values. It's harder to get. You got to have a higher credit score. It's like Pokemon. Like you got to build up to that. You don't go to the final boss on day one. And so a lot of these practices. So today we're kind of talking about, all right, if you're at 0, I mean, you don't get much lower than here's a card, $300 balance. If you're at 0, how do you get up? Right. So you're not going to get up to that 10,000 or that 100,000 point card on day one. Get built to that. And so a lot of it is understanding like, where is your credit score? What is your likelihood of getting approved? Because like you also don't want to get turned off or turned down from these, because you'll get a hit from your credit score too. You get too many declines in a row. So you want to kind of know, it's kind of like dating. You kind of know, like, are they into me? Are they going to be into me? Am I going to be into them? Is it going both ways? Got to have a little bit of a relationship here.
I don't know, man, because I've been working with the dating community, and a lot of people were completely confused when it comes to dating. They're like, I don't even know how to do. Can I touch your thigh? Is that considered?
Oh man.
What's up, King? How you doing, London? My man, Rock Cam. I love seeing y'all here. Chelsea, thanks for checking in with us. Oh man, this is lovely. YouTube in here, Facebook in here. You got Germany in here. I'm loving it.
You got all these vibes.
Uh-huh.
Dude, you're right though. I have no idea if people know how to do dating in a post-COVID world. I don't know if people know how to do personal finance either. So we're gonna learn. We're gonna learn today.
Let's do it. I might be able to help people out with that one. Let me know when y'all ready.
Oh, we'll get there too. All right, what rule are we on? I think we are on. Oh, this is a big one. Don't withdraw cash from your credit card.
Yo, so I just saw this. I saw it as an option on the card that I just got when you were recommending me. And I was like, I didn't even know you can do that. And I was like, I wonder if this is like, I didn't trust it. I didn't really, nothing felt like, oh, I should do this. So I didn't. But it's good to know that now you say, don't do it. Now tell me why.
So wait, should I remove this from like the rules? Should I just not even tell? Like, it's just like, this is not even an option. Don't even do it. Don't think about it. Just pretend you didn't see this if you didn't know about it already.
Don't withdraw cash from your credit card. Okay. What happens?
They'll charge you. So your credit card, you get an interest rate, right? So when you carry a balance, all of a sudden you have a bill on that interest. Whatever the balance is, you have a bill on that interest.
Okay.
Those interest rates, especially on some of these top cards, are just astronomical. I mean, they're like blockchain. They're like Bitcoin investments level high.
Okay. Volatile. Volatile.
They're not volatile. They only go one way. They're high. They're always high. These rates don't come down.
Rocket said, unless what? Let me know. Nah, I see him in the chat saying unless. I'm trying to say unless what? Let me know.
So these rates don't go down. There is no unless for this. So, and that's why I'm like, just don't do it. So when you pull money out, when you pull cash out, you have a loan right there. Like that's a bank loan from a credit card. That is one of the highest loans you're going to get. It's not your money. It's not coming out of your bank account. That's their money. They're giving you that loan
at an interest rate.
At a very high interest rate.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, when I saw the option, it sounded stupid to me. I was like, that don't seem like something I trust. So that makes me happy.
You went with your instinct. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, survived this far.
Well, at least now you know why. All right, so this next one too. I feel like you've asked me this a couple times too. We were thinking about what's the strategy is going to be, and what are you trying to do, and what's the sequence of cards we get. Don't cancel 0 annual fee credit cards. Remember, I told you this. You remember why?
Well, because I got this. I think I might be a credit expert listening to you today. After all the years I've been listening to you. All right, so you don't want to cancel 0 income because that, especially if it's like your first card, right? Because you want to keep that flatline first card at like no annual payments ever, because they never can kind of add up, something like that. Like it can never change.
Yeah, you're close. You're close. So one of the critical components of your credit score is length of history, credit length. So again, I'll talk about. Yes.
Oh, can I go off? Can I go off?
Go ahead. You got it. Take it away.
Okay, so this is training. I'm the rookie here. Yeah, you were saying that all your cards will average in age. So if I had one card for 10 years and I had no other cards, and then today, 10 years later, I got one card, that age will cut into 5, right? Like for 2 cards in 5 years. So if I ever cut that 0 card, I kind of would lose that leverage. That first card, that 0 annual card, would I lose the leverage altogether?
Yeah, I mean, you have that. In theory, you've done all these rules. You've kept your balance low. You've made all your payments. You have 10 years of payment history on that card. And they're like, wow, okay. Purnell's pretty stable. It's been here for 10 years. Doesn't miss payments. It's good. These are all good indicators. You cancel that card, you lose all that history.
So,
right?
I don't look reliable anymore.
Not as much.
Sure. Okay. Which would affect your credit score directly, no?
That's right. So
that
if I was
sense.
So it's funny, like I said this story, like that $300 credit card, right? I still have that card open. That was a 0 balance card. Now it's not the same card. I've gone when you work with a card and a company long enough, they'll just upgrade you to different models. So it's changed in name and shape and colors over the year, and they try to give you more benefits than whatever else it is. But that same credit history carries over. So your first credit card, get something that's 0 annual fee, because you never want to cancel it. You don't want to be stuck with like, oh, I got to keep this open. It's $95 a year. I got to keep paying. It's like, no, don't do that. Keep one that's free. I have it. I have my little credit card binder. And I literally just store it away in my closet over here. See which one it is. And I put, I think like Netflix is on it. I put like a $10 payment on it. I set up autopay.
Go.
I don't even know where it is. And I leave it. And that's it. Right? I put a little bit on it each month. Like, how much is Netflix? $10? Put $10 on it every month, pay it off, auto pay, comes out of my bank account, done. I don't think about it.
Let me get a Netflix slot from my TV. My TV in my room doesn't have a Netflix sign in. Let me get one of those.
I'll trade you. If you got a Disney Plus, I'll trade you, man.
I got Disney Plus, but it might not. I don't think it's mine. I think it's whoever lived here before me. They didn't log out. So,
dude, Laura and I were in San Diego the other day, and we were staying at one of her friend's house, and super nice. Like, Becky, if you listen, thanks. That was so dope of you. Just left us her apartment weekend, and she was logged into Disney Plus, and I was like, I'm gonna watch every episode of.
I haven't really worked with Disney Plus much, but I hear they got everything.
They got so much. I mean, there's so much there. I don't pay for it yet right now though. I'm gonna wait for them to build up the library. They're not on the Netflix level yet. She was logged into Disney Plus, and I was like, I'm gonna watch every episode of.
I haven't really worked with Disney Plus.
I don't know what's happening. All right, couple more rules. We're close. So number 9.
I see you, London.
What's up, London? What's up, baby?
So, what is the aggregate credit card limits and age of card? I don't know what that is.
What do you mean?
Oh, I don't know. I see London comment in the box. He said aggregate credit card limits and the age of the cards.
I think London's talking about when you have multiple cards.
Right.
And it's not just credit cards, by the way. Like your car loans, your houses and stuff like that. Like all that goes against your credit. So if you have access to more stuff, like your aggregated, that all helps or impacts your aggregated score. And then age of credit cards, to Len's other comment there, the longer the history, the more of a positive impact it's going to have on your bank account or on your credit score. So it's funny because people are like, and this is funny. People are, when you get a credit card, get a new credit card, and then you close it, one of your newer cards at some point. It's like, this isn't a card for me. And people are like, but don't do that because your score will go down. And it's like, well, no, that's probably a newer card. The newer card's only your average age of cards isn't that high, right? Like if you cancel some of the newer cards, the score could go up. Depends. There's a trade-off though, because when you cancel a card, you lose that access to credit, right? So if you cancel a card and have like 15K of a credit limit, it could lower your total aggregate credit score. So like there's a balance, there's a trade-off. Just be careful. Build in your strategy. There's some rules here. So we're going over it.
If something like that happens, I'm gonna call you.
I know.
You're like, guy, I'm trying to travel with you.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean it's a progress. And that's the thing too I love about this, right? You don't have to learn everything day one. Do these 10 things. One-page checklist, be done. And then learn the stuff else over time. Just don't get crazy. And so far, I don't think we've talked about anything crazy. Sign up for autopay, right? Never miss a payment. Don't carry a balance. That's it, right? This one right here, try to downgrade credit cards and annual fees before canceling. So we talked about canceling cards. And we're like, it's a newer card. Probably not going to hurt your score that much. But there's a trade-off because if you had that line of credit, you still want that. But let's say you just don't want to pay the annual fee anymore. You can call the company and say, I don't really want to pay this fee anymore. Can I downgrade? Can I go to a free card? Can I go to Chase has got Sapphire cards, Reserve and why am I blanking here? Sapphire Reserve. But they have the free one, like the one you have. So people, you can downgrade from a card that's $95 in annual fee or $550 in annual fee to a free one and keep your credit line for the most part.
All right. That's good to know.
Easy. And all it is one conversation, one phone call.
Can I call them from Google because I'm out of the country?
Huh? Google phone, Google Voice. Send them a text. I mean, it's funny because like it's so much easier now than it's ever been. You can go online. You can go on their portal. Done.
It's true. Talk to a machine.
Is that whisper voodoo? What are you doing?
Cancel me, please, or give me more money.
All right, and then the last one. When in doubt, call. Or if you want to talk to a robot, you can text a robot too. But let's say you're struggling, and I'm telling you that first $300 bill, I was hitting that $300 limit sometimes. Right, things were tight. You can always call. It's always better to call and have a conversation. Sometimes like, if I had a late payment, they're like, oh, okay, we get it. Won't show up the next day. If you're willing to have the conversation. So there's things you can do. And, depending on the company, it's flexible. And, that first card was a Capital One card. And I just highly recommend anyone trying to build up, get a Discover card, get a Capital One card. You don't think you can get some of these top tier ones, build up over time. That's what we did. So you and I both did.
Yeah, I'm super grateful because my credit score is slapping right now.
Yeah, you went up a lot, dude.
Yo, the joke was slapping.
And you basically just got the card, set it and forget it. Just acted like a bad debit card.
That's it. I brought flights on it like the next day. I was like, give me 5 times my points. So is there anything that I need to do with that, or does it just like, because I did buy it, I did buy my flights, and I'm about to buy flights probably like tomorrow or something from that card, because I know it's like the whole 5 times the points, and I did it from the website, so I know it registered with Chase. But is there something I need to do to clarify, like, yo, where's where's my 5 times the points type of thing? Like, did you guys check that? Yeah, I got that, or do I need to tell you something?
No. You, in theory, you don't have to do anything. Everything, all your purchases are registered. So there's merchant codes. So these companies look at and see where you bought it. So you go to Home Depot, like, oh, we know the Home Depot code. We know that one. But what you can do, what I recommend, and I always do this again, when I get bored, I pay my card off. You can check your statement, and your statement will show all of your multipliers. Right? They'll show you like, oh, here's all your spend. And like I always recommend, like I put all my stuff in Mint. It's from Intuit, whatever. It's free. Aggregates all your spend. You can kind of see like how much money to spend on this, how much on that. So I'm just nerd out on that stuff, anyways. But you can go to like the portals. Like Chase has a portal, Amex has a portal, and you can see which things you got more points on and not. And if you bought something, let's say your bonus category was travel, and you think you deserve those points, you can call them. You can dispute it. Be like, I think I'm supposed to get travel here, and they're like, oh, okay. And their merchant code isn't perfect. And if you call, like I said, when in doubt, call. It's better. So if you think you have points, and they mess up sometimes, right? So if you think you got points left on the table, call them up. They'll fix it.
I will. I'm like, yo, give me my 5 times my points.
Give me that 4x. Give me that 4x points.
Yeah, it's like I got this card just to buy flights.
Yeah, and that's kind of, we talked about like, all right, first step, build up the credit, do what you got to do there. I mean, now we're kind of like in the phase where we have more options and we're picking cards that match our goals and our spend and things like that. So,
this is one of the things I was wondering, and I wish I had figured it out prior too. I would love to really get another card where there's no international fees, because the first one I had, the Capital One, there's no fees on international, which is dope because I wasn't even traveling at that point. The second one, I see they got some international fees, and I'm like, oh, it sucks. But it's something I'm gonna definitely look forward to, even with like the next card I grab.
Yeah, that's so big. So a lot of the cards that are tagged as travel, that's like one of the first, like if it doesn't have no foreign fees, like it's not a travel card in my opinion. There's a lot of, so when I think about domestic cards, there's a lot of cashback cards that won't have that because they'll give you crazy deals on groceries and home supplies and things like that at your home. But I spend most of my money dining and travel, so I get travel cards. And almost all of them have no international fee. It's like one of the first things I have to check for, or when I'm researching, I'm like, because there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than being overseas, and that there's two things, right? That fee is huge.
Yeah, bro. I was like, yo, I was like, that fee makes no sense. Like,
no,
I'm not using that card again unless I'm buying something from the Chase portal.
No doubt. And the other thing too is, so Chase is like higher end cards. They're travel cards. They're not going to carry annual fees. They're not going to carry international fees. But they're also going to give you things like protection. So one of the things that's funny, right? I was with a buddy, in Spain, and he rented a car, and he booked it through this thing, whatever else, and then we get there, and I think the car, we're in Spain, car is going to cost us like $400 or $500. And I looked him in his soul and said, no, that is insane, dude. I'm not doing that. And I'm like, let me see the bill. Like, let me see what we got charged for. And it's like all insurance. I'm like, this is a lot of money. And I have this Chase card in my pocket. And I'm like, pulled up my phone, made sure that Spain was a country that was like allowed, confirmed it had coverage on insurance, took that car back, got it. I'm like, waived the insurance, got it for $100, walked out. So I was like, there's a lot of benefits here. So I would definitely, when I'm getting travel cards, like that's the stuff that I want. I want to have easy benefits from that perspective. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And then the other bonus tip I'll give you is it's not just my credit cards. Get a debit card that doesn't have international fees. I couldn't be higher on like the Charles Schwab accounts that don't have debit fees on ATMs. So if you
even abroad, man, I need one of those because man,
that's a no brainer. Free.
Let me get one of those. I need that next.
Because like the worst thing you can do is like go to those telex things in the airport and convert money there. You get the worst rates. You're so much better just walking out of the going to the same type of store and walking outside, unless you're like in Times Square, because it's even worse there. And that would even be better. But like I typically go to the bank first and convert when I have time, which I always forget, let's be honest. But I take that card and I go to an ATM internationally and I get 0 fees. That's the way to go. If there's any fees on that bank, they reimburse it. Like it's go. Highly recommend it.
Charles Schwab. I did come across that, and I was in and out of the U.S. so fast. It didn't happen.
That's right, man. Why don't you give the audience here? What have you been doing? I mean, you've been traveling. You haven't been in the States. All COVID. So all these things are applicable to you. These are all things that would help. But what have you been working on, man?
Honestly, with my partner Vanessa, we were working on a Pure Heart Leadership project, and it has been absolutely phenomenal. I'm really excited. I don't know if you can like maybe put that up on a banner somewhere. That'd be pretty dope. But we created a journal that right now we're giving away to people, helping them. There we go. Look at that. That's amazing. Thank you. You can really go there right there at that.com, and you can download the journal. It's free. I think the value is ridiculous, and we're actually about to get ready to put it on Amazon at a charge. So it's really good time to grab that before it actually is charged. But we're looking now to take people, leaders, especially with these big personalities, people who are curious, people who are adventurous, and generally people who are boss-like in their own mentality and even in their actions, and getting them to kind of practice intimacy more, right? So when you hear intimacy, you start thinking like, man, are you talking about sex? And it's like, no, intimacy is closeness. And how often do you see that top-down leadership completely disconnected from the base and the people that are really bringing in all the revenue? Without that base, like that stability, that foundation is completely shaken. And they're just so disconnected. And so what we're doing is we're literally helping people, especially big leaders, big personalities, to practice intimacy. And it's been a really, really fun journey. If I'm being honest, like in this spot I'm in right now, like I'm not going to do a 360 for you, but in this spot right now, we've been running workshops, and we've just been kind of like, not just collecting information here while in Mexico. I actually might be getting ready to go to California sooner than soon, and test that new market with it. So, but beyond that, like just taking in information, understanding where is it at, and recognizing where people lacking in a sense, and where the commonalities. And one of the big common things is failure. One of the workshops we did, we did all these keywords, and failure was the one thing. I had 6 different countries in my house, and each country, each person from each country, different country, they had a very common denominator, and the word was like failure. And I actually put it up there, and I just thought it was so interesting. So we kind of like walked through it, and when it came down to it, it's like, how can we all from different backgrounds, different upbringings, different cultures seem to be stuck in that same pattern? And really just working through it and recognizing how intimacy played its role. how it plays its role in really like having a right. Like think about it. You're in business. You work so hard. You work so hard. You work so hard, and it's like you don't even have time for your relationships back home. Right. And to be able to know what is it even like to practice intimacy with your partner. So it plays into so many different things when we're in this grind mode that doesn't even really exist. We're just helping people bridge that gap.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, you've definitely been, I feel like you've been unlocking a lot of, not just spiritually, just growth, just tearing down borders. And I think about travel. And, you were in Colombia, you were in Mexico now for most of the pandemic, just that benefit that you get when you travel. I mean, that's why I started a lot of this points and mile stuff. I just wanted to be able to go places I couldn't go before. Didn't even think it was possible. Finding ways to do it, getting creative.
Yeah. Like I think sooner than soon, I'm about to get about $500 for free. Based off the way the card is, I'm getting to my limit. Got to touch that little number, so they're gonna throw me some cash back, which is dope. And that might literally be my next ticket. That might be my next plane ticket, honestly.
So dope. And then we'll think about the upgrade, the next level. Add to the stack.
What you talking about? That other card, the 4,000, right? Yeah, I'm coming for that, and it's gonna be soon.
Now that offer is like through the roof, dude. It's 100,000 points. It's insane. It's insane.
I want it. I do.
And when you think about it, it's like that'll get you in a companion. I mean, you can get easily $2,000 value there, minimum. Like not minimum, 1,000 minimum. Easily hit 2,000 if you travel. And
I travel, so it's gonna rack up somehow.
No doubt. All right, I think we're getting long. Let me show this quick too. So Pernell, we'll hold you on for a second too. Let me switch to this mode. So one, I did promise a tool or a resource here. Doing it this right way. There we go. So we went over the 5 tips or 10 tips. If anyone wants that, there is a link. You just click it, or I think I threw it in the description too. But this is just the free resource, 1-page checklist with all the tips we went over. Just look at it and just remember and commit to it. These are the tips that literally got me over like 200 points in credit over time. So if you're starting from zero, you're starting from $300 on your credit limit. Mine's a lot healthier now. I will say that it works. You can get that. And if you want to get more from me, here's all my details. Travel with Guy on everything. There's a podcast. We actually just got the YouTube too, man. We're just we're expanding, but there's the website as well. And reach out, hang out, say hi. And then I'll see if there's just any questions and things like that in the chat. Pernell, you got a minute?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, let's see. Let's see if we get any. But yeah, you're saying that we're in too. Are you coming to California?
Yo, dude, I think I might be moving to San Diego. I like it might be in 3 weeks, dude. like I'm gonna figure it out. Like honestly, my business partner's talking about it, and so we'll see what happens. I think in 2 weeks I'll be in Mexico City. I think 3 weeks or so I'll be there, and I'll be ready. I'm like on standby. Like from Mexico City, you can go anywhere. So might fly to Tijuana and walk the border.
Bro, you and I need to hit TJ. We are so overdue for that.
Yo, TJ is such a problem.
I know. My passport hasn't expired.
And I speak Spanish.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Dude, it's so funny. Went to San Diego the other day, and like a couple weeks ago, and my like TSA.
I was there, and it made me so upset. I wish I was there in London. I saw you here in London. I see he's on the live right now. You guys rock.
London had the invite. Such a just quality people. I think it was like the end. It felt like the end of COVID. Like all of a sudden, like we're just back. Like wait, what? We just turned out on the street and there's like 1,000 people. Like what is this life? But it's just good to be around good people. But like my travel stuff, my TSA expires in 5 years. Got that stuff 5 years ago. So I'm walking through the airport, taking my shoes off, and I'm like, I literally haven't done this in 5 years. Like what's going on?
Well, like the global entry joint?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, sometimes I wish I had that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
that car we're talking about, you know what you get? You, as one of those perks,
Nah, for real?
you get global entry.
No, really?
And when you get global entry, you get TSA for free as well. It's all included. One price. You swipe your card, it goes through, and then it rebates off. It just comes off your statement. It's great. That's how I got it in the first place. It's funny too, because London, are you still on? Like when I first got that global entry, I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know how this even's gonna work. And him and I went to Brazil, and I love the story. And we like, the name of my podcast is The Last Plane Home, because it's that feeling where you're willing to change all your plans to go on the last thing home. And this trip to Brazil was that. Like, we landed Monday morning, 6 a.m. Like, I had to be at work for a relatively new job at like 9 a.m. And I look at, we get in the country and you have to go through customs and all that other stuff. And I look at London, and I had global entry. He didn't. I was like, hey man, love you, but I'm out. I'm like, but I'm curious. Like, just text me when you're done. And go through that, get in the cab, do all those sort of things. By the time London texted me, I was in my apartment. I had already showered. Like, I was out. Out.
Man, you left me in Atlanta too.
That's right. No, the other way. I left you from Atlanta. I'm like, I'm going home. Bye.
Yo, but I caught up with you. I remember I sat down on the plane and you looked over to the right. It was like, and I just fell asleep.
Don't worry about it. All right. I think we'll wrap up there, man. But hey, thanks for just jamming, just vibing, hanging out.
Nah, really. Thank you for everything. For anybody watching, like, really, I could really testament for this, like, for real. Like, I wouldn't even have a credit score. I mean, I think my credit score just touched 800, and it's like, I don't even know how it did that, right? But I can say that it only came because of him, quite frankly. Like, and I'm like, I thought that was like a magical, mythical number, and I don't even live in the state, so it's not even like my focus. But I'm happy to say that I have credit if I change my mind. So I would say definitely go check out his one-page file and learn something, because I don't think all of this is common knowledge, even though it seems so simple. I just followed his advice, and that's why my credit score is at 800 right now. And
man, I'm so proud of you for that. That's crazy. Did you even think that was like possible growing up?
Yeah,
like,
I never even cared about what my credit score was. I barely follow the rules.
Yeah, same. I was like, it doesn't matter. I literally thought I was going to have to just work as hard as possible to get halfway there. And no, just do some simple stuff. We just got to share the knowledge. That's all it is.
And you guys already know, credit in the U.S. is basically bigger than everything. Like, you got credit, you can do whatever you want.
Right. Golden rule.
So that's amazing. No, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I would say, if anything, check out that journal, pureheartleadership.com. You guys should check that out for sure. And thanks. I appreciate you.
Yeah, man. When we had that dinner, Pernell just went through Lauren into my charts, and it opened up a whole nother universe of how to think, how to feel, how to I don't really know how to explain it.
How to be yourself. Like, he's talking about astrology.
It's like unlocking yourself. It's like knowing
exactly.
knowing a part of yourself that you don't know you have.
Exactly. It's validation. You get permission to be you all the way.
So yeah, I would definitely recommend checking out the site. Just do a quick journaling. You do a lot of free journaling, right?
Say it again.
You do a lot of free journaling sessions, right?
Oh, heck no. It's at bare minimum a donation. You can't do everything for free. This journal is free right here, but every 2 weeks on Saturdays, anybody interested in astrology, especially, like, actually, I'm doing it every Saturday now, weeklies. It's 9 a.m. Mexico time. 2 of them are more astrology based. 2 of them are just more psychology based and helping work your emotions. But they've been major. I mean, I've been seeing people break through the craziest traumas. So you should show up to that. Send me a message.
All right, man. Let's get out of here. Appreciate it, brother.
Big love, homie.
All right, man. We'll do it again.
Ciao.